insurance man, I understand insurance, I understand risk management. I don't understand policing. I understand the result that we all want, but I'd like to hear from the professionals that we've hired on what their plan, on what direction they feel we need to go to solve our problem.
One of the fundamental jobs of municipal government is to provide a strong police force. It's like on the national level, one of the primary concerns of government is to provide a strong national defense. And that's what we, the type of mentality we need here in Joliet. So of course, I'm going to echo a lot of what the other individuals, candidates have said in fully staffing the police department and fully staffing the neighborhood policing unit, and maybe even expanding it. Because from what I understand, it works, it's effective. Why not use what's effective? So, of course, there are other issues such as providing economic opportunity for people.
10 seconds.
And enhancing the business environment. But for me, strengthening the police department, bringing it to full force, and strengthening and even expanding the neighborhood police department would be one of my priorities.
I too am going to echo what a lot of the panel has set up here. Neighborhood policing, it definitely works. It left us for a while back into the session. I myself and some of the other councilmen voted to bring it back. I'm very proud of it. We found the dollars, we found the resources to bring back neighborhood policing, and it works. Those officers are basically dealing with the church groups, they're dealing with the nonprofits, they're dealing with the residents to try and get more into the weeds as far as what's happening in particular neighborhoods and crime. And certainly, I'd be in favor of strengthening our police force. And again, I too received the endorsement of both of our police unions because of my commitment to their training and to their to what they do. But in addition to that, I think it's deeper than that. I really do. I think it's education. I think it's job training. I could be wrong, but I don't think many of the gangbangers out there are very well educated, and I don't think they have a job. And possibly job training, trying to educate them more, would go a long way. So it's a deeper rooted problem, and it's a problem that is probably generational in those
10 seconds.
types of gangs. But certainly strengthening NLPT, bringing back more police officers, job training, and education.
We're going to try and wrap this up in the next 10 minutes or so. And we're going to, I wanted to do one thing that I think I saw work the other evening at another forum. I'm going to give each of you a minute to ask the other candidate in your district. Since there's 6 of you, it'll work out perfect. Got a minute to ask your question, got a minute to respond, and each of you get that back and forth. We'll do District 3 first here.
Something ask him a question.
You can ask him a question.
Okay. Basically, over the last few weeks, Governor Rauner has indicated that he is considering eliminating 50% of the local government distributive pool that comes back to the city of Joliet. That could equate to about $7 million to the city, a huge hit to our city budget. Seeing that Mr. Polakaitis is a supporter of public safety, police, fire, public works, and that makes up 75% of our budget, would you consider cutting those services should the proposal of Governor Rauner go through?
Well, that's a big if. I believe that this proposal is being debated, and the final form of this proposal is yet to be seen. But again, would it be a tremendous cut to cities like Joliet? Of course it would be. And I'm all, an advocate, obviously, of the city paying its bills in a timely and efficient manner. But again, I am not a proponent of raising taxes and additionally increasing the burden on the citizens of this city. And I'm confident that if we can go through that budget and prepare and for such an eventuality, I think we could probably handle that and not
10 seconds.
An inordinate burden on the citizens of this city.
Ray, you can ask John a question now.
With regard to the Rialto Theater, you indicated that that's the center of economic development within the community, if I understood you correctly. What do we need to change with the Rialto? Because as I've said, we've plowed over $8 million into that theater in the last, since 2005. The Paramount Theater in Aurora is a smaller venue and seems to be far more effective in handling its bills, paying its bills. So, given the fact that the Rialto is, as you say, the center point of economic development downtown, what do we need to do with that business model? Because as far as I can tell, it's not working.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what I said. In fact, I know I didn't say that. What I said was that the Camaro study, we commissioned a study to analyze our downtown, to come up with a redevelopment plan. I didn't say that. Camaro said that. They basically said they are going to, their takeoff point, their pivotal point is the Rialto Square Theater, okay? That's what they're going to use, because that's the asset that is down there. They're going to use that asset as their pivotal point to try and stimulate downtown. Now, there's also other things as well. We've got a lot of exciting things going on in downtown Joliet, okay? We've got Joliet Junior College that we're hoping to come in. University of St. Francis, the multimodal facility that's down that the state has invested in. These are all exciting things. We've got government services, okay? We've got the courthouse, we've got all the other government services. With respect to trying to making Rialto a
10 seconds.
A better business model, I think that they should consider, here again, I'm not on that board, but I think what they need to consider is bringing more shows into the Rialto.
Time.
You know, last year, can I finish, please? Last year they had 40 shows. There should be 3 times that amount of shows that are going out to Rialto Square Theater. So that's
Okay, go to District 2. You ask Brett.
I have no question for Brent. I'm here to ask the voters for District 2 for their support for my candidacy on April 7th.
And I don't have a question for Pat either. We're keeping civil, just to let everyone know we are neighbors in our districts in this law. That saves 2 minutes.
Aaron, you had mentioned earlier that you'd gone through the entire budget. So please, if you would describe what I would do, I'm sure we can identify as 4 major departments, police, and fire, and city hall. Describe each of those, if you would, your grasp of each of the personnel levels, and then triage and prioritize which one needs to be approached first, and how you intend to bring the personnel.
I said I reviewed the budget specifically for line items. Those are the expenditures. I didn't review the entire budget line by line. So I was looking at departmental expenditures, and I noticed that there were so many. And that's the point I made about the budget. From what I understand about the different departments, we have staffing levels in certain areas, but I didn't memorize any of the numbers. And I didn't bring the budget with me like you did. So I can't answer that question. My question for you is a microcosmic District 1 issue, and that is the empty grocery store on Lexington Road that a lot of residents have talked to me about. You've been a councilman for 4 years, that grocery store still sits empty. Can you give us an update on the progress that's been made to fill that space, because a lot of people have asked me about it?
Yeah, I talked to many of the residents, especially the ones in my town that live in my store that they don't want it. Actually, myself personally, I approached them, and they didn't have interest in the corporate formula to come here. That, I think you're gonna have to ask, the mayor and his economic, well, we don't have an economic development director. You're gonna have to ask the mayor and the economic development director. I personally got frustrated in those areas, and I reached out to protest myself. So I don't know why our director of planning and development isn't doing more. I do understand too, in talking to the Safeway, that they've marketed it as being false. So yes, it's still being pursued, maybe not by the people that should be pursuing it, but I'm trying to pursue it from the sidelines as best I can.
Gentlemen, I thank you. I think it was informative, It's a difficult challenge to question uh, six people on a varying topics, but I think you all did very well. Appreciate your being here. Before we go to closing statements, I have one request, and I get to do this because I am the moderator. I'm a veteran, and one of my pet peeves for many years has been the flag pavilions that are located around the city. I believe there are 8 of them. They are unlit. There was a very inadequate lighting done for those flags. In order to fly the American flag, the U.S. flag, 24/7, it has to be lit. I'm not asking the question, I'm just making the request. With all of the commitments we have from various trade unions and public servants in this community, it would seem to me that we could get that done, putting lights on all of those pavilions without a big expense, without a big to-do. But I'll tell you, I'd be there for the ceremony and make sure that there were a lot of veterans available to help you celebrate that. So whoever gets elected, that's my request. Now, we'll start down at the other end there with Terry. You can have your closing statements. Appreciate it if you keep it within 2 minutes.
Thank you, Wayne, and thank you all again for coming to listen to the forum today. We're going to give you a chance to voice our concerns about our candidacy and about the city. Again, I'm obviously a younger person, and part of my idea of running for city council is I'm looking forward to the future, and I like a lot of the things I've seen with the city, and as a lifelong third-generation resident, I want to be part of shaping what the future can be. And if I'm fortunate enough to do that, I will work on the city council with the leaders and my fellow governmental individuals to try to make the city a place that is an attractant for people. And also, when I was on the Plainfield Library Board, we had a tentative event in Plainfield Village Hall where a constituency from China came to Plainfield to see how the city is run. I thought, wow, that's city from China runs these Plainfield. I would like for areas around it to say, wow, this is the sort of thing they do in Joliet because they really have a forward-looking vision. As a technology person, it's my job to have that forward vision. I hope to add that to my city that serves me and turn me into the person that I am today. So I appreciate the time to speak.
I'm going to stop you right there because I made a mistake. There is one more part to this. We do have a few audience members here that might want to ask a question. So before we conclude with the statements, are there any questions from the audience? Does everybody hear that question? Do we get, what kind of revenue?
Well, on the center point, that's a business to business, okay, so there is no retail tax. What we do get there is obviously property tax, and then, right, because of jobs, we would get our portion of the state's payroll tax. But that's what we get there. Pretty much the same thing occurs out at the racetrack, because the ticket, the race itself is not it's a service, not an product, but all the drinks, the food, the refreshments, the souvenirs, we do get taxed.
The courthouse issue, they are running out, they need space, right? How strong is that influence in their decision of what they do with the courthouse, whether we're going to move or stay or expand or what? Are they looking for a place, another place, one within Joliet or what?
any of the candidates that want to respond to these questions, you don't all have to respond if you don't want to, but anybody that wants to respond, please respond. And we'll just follow it down the line. Start with John.
Is that important to them that they didn't have?
Were you not paying, if you weren't paying attention, what's going on?
That's my understanding, is that the reason for the whole talk about the courthouse is that they are out of space. The current existing courthouse now is actually too small, and with the expansion of Will County government, the space that they're in now is too small to accommodate all their needs. And that's why they're looking at buying new buildings and expanding in downtown. And as they're looking at that process, green space in other cities just come forward and say, we could possibly develop and put a facility there. So if your question is, why are they looking at that? My understanding was it is a space need. They've just outgrown the current courthouse and the facilities they have now.
So if something different does happen, that would probably be the reason, because of the space, not so much money or whatever.
Well, I mean, it was my understanding, just what Brett said, is that physically the building, the size of Will County has grown immensely in the city of Joliet. So there's twice or three times the number of judges, and they need space for these cases, and they need to go, they're gonna go someplace. So, I mean, they have bought the First Midwest Bank building there now, and as I understand it, they have talked with the city or started to make plans, not exactly how it's gonna be funded. I don't know, I know John mentioned that the city may could give up some tap-on fees and things of that nature as they're part of it, but that there's other people on the county board that are not from the city of Joliet. So they would be looking to move it, I'm assuming, east, because the bigger part of the county is east. And I would see Joliet City as a ghost town, I guess I should say, if the county building and courthouse moved out of it.
Anybody else?
Yes,
Larry?
and you can correct me if I'm wrong, sir. I heard you mention the space and space consideration, but you also mentioned it wouldn't be if they went somewhere else just to monetary money. So what you're saying is, I think in addition to them outgrowing the spaces, does Joliet offer enough area for them to redevelop in that area? Yes, we do. Yes, so it is gonna come down to our partnership. That's really what it is, our partnership with the county. There is enough space between, there's other land that's part of what John and I talked about earlier, that ultimately may be swapped, that's under the city's ownership control. But yes, there is, in fact, there is a preliminary drawing. There is plenty of space available for them to rebuild between where their current courthouse is and the areas around the bank, and then ultimately the bank would come down and they would come and phase that. So there is enough room. I thought we were misunderstanding you. You were, because I thought you were asking, are they really running out of space in the courthouse? And you were asking, do we have enough space to rebuild?
Right.
Okay, yes, we do.
Thank you.
Going back to what you said, what Larry said a while ago about somebody going out and drawing in business. Did we have an influence in getting Center Point here, or did they just kind of, on their own, bulldozer?
They showed up one night.
No, that's not the plan. For the design point, what attracted design? Actually, the negotiation, I understand it was 7.7 billion in Joliet Road, but it would cost nearly $1 billion more for them to go to Yorkville because they didn't have the infrastructure that Fort Myers City of Illinois has. So they came here because of the trains, trains, what do you call it, the canal, the highways, and the 355 may not be in Joliet, may dead end, or, end in Lennox right now, but it's right next to Joliet. It was all that transportation infrastructure that attracted them here. Then it was a matter of cutting the deal. That's what it came down to. Anything else?
Are there any other questions? If you could come up here to the... In the microphone? Want to pass the microphone there?
Mike, too. Very good. We're in a time of global climate change and ecological crisis with global warming, soil erosion, deforestation, air and water contamination. Some efforts are being made for a more sustainable future with groups like Pool City and Going Green. How aware are you of the need for environmental friendly development? And does this affect your view for a first-class city in the 21st century?
Okay. Who wants to take that? Start down here, Terry.
Well, I'd just like to say, as far as it.
Or with John.
As far as Joliet goes, I believe we just received an award for being an environmentally friendly city, a green city. And and I think it's important. I mean, I think we need to take care of the natural resources, that we have in our community. But Joliet certainly does its part, and as I said, I believe we're recognized for an environmentally friendly city.
Pass the mic. No response there. No.
Thanks for asking this question, because that was one of the industries I forgot to mention about the well-paying jobs was environmental green jobs. Technology is what got us into this mess. It's industrialization is what put us to where we actually are with our environment. Technology is the only way we're going to get out of it. So as I drive across the state, a lot of you have seen this, you see windmills go up and they've gone up pretty quickly. We have to have the will to want to do these certain things. You go to some cities and they have the compactable garbage cans that have the solar arrays on top to push the garbage together. It just takes a matter of forward-looking population and forward-looking city council to try to decide to prioritize some of these things. So it's something that I definitely support because I realize that not only was it the technology that got us to this point, or mass production of cheap plastic goods from overseas and so forth, but there are ways in which we can design our city and think about future planning efforts that involve green initiatives, and it should be part of the mission of the city. So I appreciate the question.
Is that it? Are there any other questions? If not, we'll continue with Larry there for closing statement.
As I said at the beginning, I came here 4 years ago because I knew the city was in trouble. We solved a number of problems and we continue to enforce on those problems. So it has been my privilege, my honor to serve this way and be a voice that frankly District 1 can't. And frankly, District 1 can't afford to lose that voice in any way, shape, or form now. And I have become that voice. And I have put District 1 where it belongs, reminding people we're here, folks, and we want what District 1 needs. So a couple of people earlier tonight said that it's not just about your district. We got first and foremost it is in a district form government. You don't want to harm the rest of the city. You've got to meet the needs of your district, and then you stand back and meet the needs of the city. And with that said, we can't afford to lose the first voice we had in the 15 to 20 years that we've been developing out here. Forgotten. And I certainly am proud of the accomplishments I made. I've met some pressure, some pushback from some of the people that wanted to do it the old way. But myself and some of the new members of the council have been able to create a new way of doing business in Joliet. And we just got to continue to push that snowball, throw that snowball, so that we can do everything the new way. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and I thank all you folks for coming out and wish you good night.
Thank you to all of you for coming tonight, and also thank you to the Times Weekly and Wayne for hosting us here tonight. I appreciate the opportunity to share our thoughts with you. I'm running for District 2 Joliet City Council because I am committed to making Joliet a safer, better community. I believe I have the experience and the record to make Joliet a safer, better place. I've served on Joliet Park District Board for 12 years. I was elected to 3 terms. In those 12 years, I was president for 4 years. I have administrative experience working in a large high school, and I've also been a member of many community organizations, including Joliet Junior College, that I mentioned before, and also the Fairmont Community Partnership. So I'm concerned about all communities, not just District 2. My record, I believe my record is one of the accomplishments. I'm very proud of the work we've done with the Park District. The Park District has entered into many partnerships with businesses, with the City of Joliet, as we've had examples of what can we do. The Park District and the City of Joliet has entered into agreements where fees were waived for the Park District in return for other things, so it didn't cost either tax and bonding actual tax dollars. The Joliet Park District has had a balanced budget for the last few years, so we've been providing services, quality services to the residents, all within the means of our budget. So I have that experience and those accomplishments.
10
The
seconds.
accomplishments of good government. In my 12 years, my motto has always been to do what's right. I'm an independent thinker, an independent person. I don't make commitments to any organization that I promise that I would be tied to any one group or one organization. My motto is, I do what's best for the citizens of Joliet. So I appreciate your consideration and your vote on April 7th. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for putting this on. Wayne, thanks for being the moderator here. As everyone's already mentioned. I'm a 43-plus year independent business person here in Joliet, in District 2. I understand needs and wants. We all have them. We need to keep them in line. There is a budget, and we all have to live by that budget. I've been on numerous boards over the time here. I've been the head of those boards. I understand the uniqueness of board cooperation. I understand why we have to have board cooperation to move ahead. For Joliet to prosper and move ahead, we have to have cooperation with the board. I've asked for no union, no city union support. I didn't feel that would be right being on the city council. The only endorsement I am looking for is you to vote on April 7th.
I want to thank everyone for hosting this event, for everyone here attending tonight. Again, my name is Ray Borkias, and I'm running for the council seat in the 3rd District. My main reason for this is, for running for city council, is to echo something Mr. Odekirk in the back has said. You know, we can all disagree, we have honest disagreements about the best way in which to proceed on a particular issue. But what I think we need the most is fundamental honesty and a fair representation of the current situation within the city. I believe that my 20-plus years as an accountant, owner of an accounting firm that deals with small businesses on a daily basis, so I know exactly the types of hurdles they have to face. And we have to remember that small businesses are what's going to grow this community and provide the jobs that we want and the opportunities that the citizens of this city need. So again, I think I have the background, the foundation to do a good job in the position, and a lot of this
10 seconds.
will revolve around just plain old common sense and having the best interests of the city and the citizens of my district in mind. And that's why, if elected, I plan to be a proactive councilman who will go out there to consistently meet with the citizens, so I get an idea of what their concerns are and what their complaints are and what types of questions they might have regarding city government. So again, I ask for my district board support on April 7th. Again, my name is Rick Holden.
Well, again, I want to thank the Times Weekly for putting this on. In fact, this is probably the most purest form of democracy, is when you get candidates up here discussing their views. But 4 years ago, I was elected to the Joliet City Council, and there were some difficult times. I think everybody will admit to that. A lot of hard decisions were made by a lot of the new members that came on to the City Council at that time, and I was one of those new members. But from that time till now, we've seen a dramatic change in the way the city is ran and the way our economy is performing. From our budget, 2012, 13, 14, and 15, we've seen surpluses in 2012 and 2013, and we've seen balanced budgets in 2014 and 15. When I came on the city council, we were bleeding red, and that has changed. And it's changed from making a lot of tough decisions. With respect to the economy, as I mentioned before, we've had over $550 million worth of new construction that has been added to our economy over the last 4 years, and we've created 9,000 jobs, and those are good jobs, good construction jobs. As I mentioned before as well, the CFO of IKEA USA basically said Joliet is the place where he wants to be and do business. I think that says something about us. Have we completely turned the corner? Of course not, we can always do better. But I think we're headed in the right direction. And again, I appreciate you having us here today, and I certainly would appreciate your vote on April 7th. Thank you.
Again, thank all of you for taking the time to come and face the public, face the questions. And again, I